what's up everybody? Welcome to Transforming with Sarah. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today is of course my week 23 update in my transformation weight loss journey using both keto and carnivore to go from morbidly obese to a healthy weight. So of course I'll just be going over any changes and things that I'm experiencing so you can see what my journey looks like. But also today I thought I would go ahead and go over nutrition labels, things that I look for, things that I avoid, how I read those nutrition labels. I thought it would be helpful for anyone just starting who wants to know more information what they should be looking for on a nutrition label. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so real quick, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah. For my entire life, I have been morbidly obese, overweight. At one point, I weighed 308.8 pounds at my absolute heaviest. I'll go ahead and put a before picture here for you guys. Now, my entire life, I have been overweight and tried multiple diets, anything from Weight Watchers, South Beach diet, vegetarian, and many more, but nothing absolutely worked for me. In 2018, I found keto, lost weight, gained it back. Long story short, here we are about 5.5 months into my current weight loss journey with keto and carnivore. So far lost 52.5 pounds and I'm continuing on strong, feeling absolutely amazing. So I'm just created this channel to share my whole journey, thought process, what I'm doing, everything with you guys, because I feel amazing and I want other people to feel just as amazing, especially if you've also struggled with weight and dieting. I just want to share what's working for me and what has me feeling fantastic. Okay, so down to my week 23 more or less update for you guys. Exercise did not go as planned. I think I mentioned last week that I was gonna really bring in the exercise because I'm coming up on my next weigh-in, and that's where I really tried to cinch down because I want to see the numbers go down on the scale, of course. But fast forward to the following day, Monday, I was so excited to go on my walk and just start my week off strong. And what happens? Well, I'm clumsy and I fell down the last 2 stairs. Thankfully, it wasn't anything major, just a minor sprain. So exercise did not go as planned this week. I did go ahead and pull up some YouTube videos of like sit down exercises and easier things as I was kind of healing, because I didn't want to push through exercising when I was in pain like that. As far as food, of course, still going strong on carnivore, the 100% meat diet, no vegetables, no sugars, same old, just continuing to stay strict with my diet, add in exercise as I can. Now, something I have noticed is a little bit more recently, I've been having a little bit more frequent headaches. So I think what I'll go ahead and do is go back to keto chow, which for those of you that remember, when I did that transition between ketovore and carnivore, I actually used keto chow at first to help with that transition, electrolytes, and I noticed that it helped with my headaches. So I figured, you know what, I know keto chow helped with headaches in the past. I'm gonna try it again. I was getting a lot of toe cramps from keto chow, so I'll go ahead and update you guys once I get more if I notice that it helps me. But here we are, so I'm gonna retry that. And of course, upcoming this week, I'm really hoping to pick up my exercise again. I actually got in a kettlebell and some dumbbells and then a weighted vest. So I'm super excited to add in a little bit of weights to my exercise. Now, you don't have to add in weights into your exercising or into your diet. I specifically want to add it in because not only does muscle help burn fat even more, but it does help to fill out the loose skin, because by the time this is all said and done, I'm kind of aiming to lose over 100 pounds. So I thought trying to build up some muscle to not only help with my weight loss, but also help fill out that loose skin, that was my next step in my journey. So I'm super excited to see what this brings to the table. So that's pretty much my week. It's the same old, but that's why I thought I would go ahead and go over nutrition labels, things that I look for, how I read a nutrition label, things that I am avoiding, just for any of you that have been curious or you're starting off and want to know what to look for and avoid. So especially with keto, carnivore, we pretty much all want to avoid sugar. Sugar is really not that great for your body or for your health. So of course, when I am looking at the ingredient part of the nutrition label, any sugar will be bad. Now you have to watch out because honestly, Companies will name it basically anything just to try and trick you into buying their product. So of course, sugar, brown sugar, natural sugar you see, and then you get more complicated things like glucose, dextrose, multidextrin, dextrin, multidextrin, ethymental. Like there's so many different names that you can give it. So you always want to try and watch out for those. I found a link that kind of gave a little bit of different names that they might possibly give it. I'll go ahead and of course link that below for you guys. And of course, secondly, looking at the ingredients part, I try to avoid certain types of oils. Some of them are not healthy, but also can cause a lot of inflammation, like sunflower oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil. And then lastly, you do want to be cautious of natural flavoring. Within natural flavoring, they can pretty much just classify it, and it could be just about anything. So be very wary when you see natural flavoring on the ingredients. Now, of course, what I look for might be different if you're doing keto, because right now I am doing carnivore. So me personally, when I am looking at ingredients, I try to avoid anything that is more complex to pronounce, because typically it's just going to be hidden ingredients that you're not wanting. I also try to go for anything that is 5 ingredients or less, because more than that, then it just becomes so processed. So I try to aim for 5 ingredients or less. Okay, so let's go ahead and get down to the label, the order that I look at it, and what I'm looking for. Now, this is going to depend on what you're aiming for. If you're doing just keto, are you aiming for 20 total carbs a day or 20 net carbs a day? Because that in itself is going to be different. And of course, with carnivore, you're kind of aiming for as close to 0 carbs as possible. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put up a nutrition label here for you guys, just so you can see the order that I tend to look at things. I typically will start with the total carbs on the nutrition label. Then I will go ahead and look at, of course, dietary fiber, which is carbs from fiber. And then I'll go ahead and look at dietary sugar. Of course, that is any carbs that you get from sugar. Next, I'll go ahead and take a look at the ingredients to double check for any hidden sugars, oils, things that I do not want in what I'm going to eat. And then lastly, I go ahead and take a look at the very top at the serving size, because all of that could check out and look good. And then you might see, oh, you know, there's only 3 carbs in this. And then you take a look at the serving size and it's 1 tablespoon. I've had that happen on a few things that I was using. So always make sure to check out the serving size as well. It really will help to get a better picture as to if it's something you want to eat or it's something that's good and fits within your diet. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down the carbs here. I'll start on the keto side. Now, of course, if you are doing 20 total carbs a day, you'll just go ahead and start off. In this case, it's going to be 6.6 grams for a 100-gram serving. So if you're doing keto and you get 100 grams of broccoli in this case, you would mark down that you're having 6.6 grams. Now, this is where I want to break it up. If you are doing 20 net carbs, some people will say that net carbs do not count because it's fiber. And I'm not a scientist, but some people will subtract net carbs from that label. So if you're doing 20 net carbs a day, what you would do by looking at this label is say, okay, there's 6.6 grams of carbs, but there's only 2.6 grams of carbs from fiber, from dietary fiber. So essentially what they will do is take 6.6 minus 2.6. So in that one serving, you now only have 4 carbs versus the 6.6 carbs. So if you're doing the 20 net carbs, you do have a little bit more wiggle room here when looking at all the different foods that you're eating. In addition, some people who do the net carbs will also then subtract anything that has a sugar alcohol. This is usually found in sweeter items. Sugar alcohol in this case is going to be your sugar substitutes like Swerve, stevia, monk fruit, things like that. They're 0 carb sugars, but they are going to be shown in the carbs section. But from my understanding, when subtracting sugar alcohol, it's going to be slightly different than the dietary fiber. So if you're subtracting sugar alcohol, they do suggest to only do half of that sugar alcohol. So for example, say on that label you see a sugar alcohol of 4. Well, what you'll want to go ahead and do is just subtract 2 from that. So sugar alcohols will just split in half. Fiber, people tend to just subtract the whole thing. Again, depends on what you're looking for. If you're going for total carbs or 0 carb, then you'll definitely want to just look at that total carbs. Okay, so as far as the carnivore side, what I currently really look at when I'm looking at those labels, of course, what I mentioned before, sugar, oil, all that jazz. But really any of your pre-packaged foods is where you really want to flip it over and take a look at that label for any of those hidden sugars, hidden oils, because even for example, bacon, there's a lot of bacon brands that do have sugar in it. So it's so important just to flip it over and take a look at those. Sometimes you'll think that, hey, you know, all this meat is good, but you'll flip it over and see there's like 5 or 6 carbs in it. From what? From sugar, from all these different things. So definitely take a look at the label on the back. Again, I try to aim for 5 ingredients or less. And then of course with those, anything that's more complicated to say is generally something you'll want to avoid. So if you've been dieting for a while, which is something I had to go back and learn on my second journey, is, you know, even if you start by going to your fridge, pull stuff out and look at the label, look at the ingredients, because you'll think that what you're eating was healthy, but turns out it actually wasn't. So double check absolutely everything. I know it takes more time, but you're going to learn so much more if you just take a couple of seconds to review that label and see if it fits within what you are trying to do. But always, you guys, remember, when in doubt about something you see in the ingredients, Google is your best friend. You can just type in the word and you might find that it's a hidden sugar or something like that. So Google, Google, Google. It definitely helps as well when you're learning, and that's when you start to find out what is healthy and what is not. All right, you guys, there you have it. A little bit crazy. I didn't realize I had so much to say about nutrition labels. If you're wanting to see a more in-depth video, because I definitely have way more information, go ahead and leave a comment below. I might do that in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, of course, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment below. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you all follow along on my ketogenic carnivore transformation weight loss journey. I know we still got quite a ways to go, but we're making huge strides, and I just love sharing my whole journey with you guys. So until next time, remember to stay strong, stay positive, and you've got this. Bye, everybody.